Hi, can you tell us your name, your date of birth, and where are you from?
Uh, I'm Eddie Holland. I was born 1958, July 5th. Uh, I was born in Florida, but my family's from here in the mountains, and I've been here since 1970.
Okay, that's a long time.
Yeah.
So, what are the communication devices do you rely on for information?
Now, your cell phone, Facebook, computers. Back then, we didn't have nothing like that, you know. Back then, it was just hearsay, or you could look into the local paper, Everything was in a local paper. Everything everybody did was always in a local paper. In a way, I didn't like that in a way, it told on everybody, but you get a lot of information then. Nowadays, you can look at the news, you can listen to the radio. Back then, we had the radio. You could listen to that, and get a lot of stuff. But of course, now, you got the internet and the cell phones and stuff.
Okay. And tell me about the newspaper. Like, is it a daily newspaper or like?
No,
What is yeah.
it was the Franklin Press. It came out on Mondays and Thursdays. And that was the only way you could keep up with the news. It told everything. It would tell the community news. They even had an article about my dad catching a big trout one time. They had an article in there about my dad's tomatoes. It was just, and about my dad's beehives. It was kind of a tight, everybody was really friendly. It was really pretty nice back then. You never heard about the bad things going on in the world back then, like you do now.
Okay. So, Eddie, can you just tell us about, how many television channels you had access to, and what were your favorite shows? Tell us about your television time.
Well, back then, most places you could just get Your Friend 4, Channel 4 from Greenville. I mean, I can't remember. Then finally, we got Channel 13, but you could not pick up. Back then, it was just antennas and boosters on the antennas. Probably didn't have cable TV and satellite dish probably till the late 80s, probably 90s,
So, what were your favorite television shows, and tell us about your TV shows?
Oh, well, back then, wrestling has always been wrestling, and then I remember my grandpa used to like to watch the Porter Wagner show. It was a country music show, and the Hee Haw was popular back then. Everybody's probably heard of that. Some people has, and that was about it. Back then, everybody, it's kind of funny. I stayed with my grandparents a lot. They'd go to bed at dark and get up at daylight, so there wasn't really much TV watching going on, back then.
And how would you know if anything major happens in the country? What were the sources that you will go to if for any major information?
Well, there was the radio station, the 12 o'clock news and stuff like that. And then there was a local paper. I'm not really sure when the Asheville paper, it was a long time before I seen a Asheville paper back then.
And can you just tell us about, would you believe anything that you see on TV then and now? Can you just tell us about that?
I would come closer to believing it back then. Nowadays, it's kind of, you got a lot of scams and a lot of things going on nowadays. I like to take people's opinions and look at things and stuff, and then I usually come up with my own conclusion.
How much technology is important in your life right now?
Well, I do a lot in the outdoors, and I like to keep up with the weather, and if it wasn't for technology, I wouldn't know the weather. And then again, you can't always believe the weather, man, but that and communicating at work and with my job and with family. Back then it was pretty hard to communicate with family back then, You'd have to get on the old pay phone, which you don't see no more, and do a collect call, It is a lot easier now to stay in touch with family, and you can either, talk to them online.